13 love, 13 knowledge, 13 wisdom, 13 respect. This is your Creation 13. Today, I wanted to read Matthew 21 through 23. I really feel this sets the stage for where you're at on your spiritual walk. Whether you just started your spiritual walk now, or you've been on your spiritual journey for 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 50 years, right? When I read this yesterday, or actually, was it yesterday? Yesterday or today? It just really stuck out to me. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then we'll just kind of talk about it for a little bit. So Matthew 7:21 through 23. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, that you that worked in equity. And then I just said on here, so many preachers and religious groups forget this message from Christ and lead people into human teachings instead of Christ teachings. Right? And just breaking this stuff down, what are we looking at here? The importance of it, because in this day and age, and throughout the decades, right? This is exactly what preachers and religious figures are doing, right? Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name and have cast out devils? Well, what are you seeing an uprise of, right? That consistently. So can you imagine if you were at that day of judgment going, oh, hey, I did all the good works for you, so I can go into heaven. And Christ would be like, well, you did all the book knowledge of things, but you never had a relationship with me. I don't know you. You never had a relationship with me. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Exactly. It's so very important to understand what a relationship is with Christ and what is not a relationship with Christ, right? What is not a relationship, is having every scripture memorized and knowing all these dates of these certain time frames and this is when Christ was hung on the cross, this is when this happened, and that is what that happened, right? That's just history and knowledge. But so many people fail to understand what it's like to commune with Christ, to have a conversation with Christ every day, every minute, when you're working, when you're waking up, just walking around, right? Playing video games or hanging out with friends. You just hear this ringing in the ear, bing. Oh, hey, Christ is calling me. Hey, I need to go talk to Christ real quick, right? You don't hear very many people hardly ever having that kind of relationship with Christ, right? My whole life has been built around that, right? Ever since I was a little kid, before I even knew what religion was, what Christianity was, I always had this deity that was always there protecting me and guiding me. And then when my mom took me to church, and a Christian church, and then I learned about Christ, I was like, oh, hey, that's the same imaginary friend that I had before. Oh, that must be Christ. And just continued that relationship, right? And, I'm one of those rare ones that has that intimate relationship with Christ in a way that it's just natural to have a conversation right out of the blue and then get feedback and answers, right? And yet so many people have went to church for 30, 40 years and have never ever had a conversation with Christ on a personal level, right? You know, that goes into the element of like, hey, I never knew you, right? And it's not to scare you, because that is one of the key things the church teaches you, is to be afraid. Oh, hey, you better make sure you're saved and have your ticket or key to heaven, or you ain't going to make it, right? You know, that's fear. That's not having any kind of relationship with Christ at all, right? You know, when it comes down to a lot of factors in things, is that we don't have to prove anything, right? We don't have to prove that Christ exists. That's what these churches and religious people are doing, and that's exactly what the scripture is talking about, is that they are trying to prove Christ exists. They are trying to prove the mightiness of God, right? We don't need to prove anything. We are the proof. Each one of us is the proof that Christ lives in you. That there is a deity or deities that watch and protect over you, that can give you good information. And that's where it goes into discernment on what kind of information are you receiving, right? There's a level of responsibility that humans aren't taught, right? That level of responsibility is taught at times by our parents, or in the work environment, teaches you what responsibility is, taking ownership. But when you're on your own time, how much ownership, discipline are you giving yourself, right? How much love and respect are you giving yourself, right? People don't like to do that. People feel, and they're accustomed to living in a negative way, right? Living in a sense of turmoil or a sense of desperation without taking any ownership or responsibility, right? Because that way then if something happens, they can blame others instead of themselves, right? If you take ownership for your own life, then you have different eyes to see things. You're like, oh, hey, this is my responsibility to pay my bills. This is my responsibility to make sure food's on the table, the roof is still over my head, you know, take care of my family, right? That level of responsibility. And that goes into the very element of your spiritual journey, you know, taking your spiritual journey seriously and learning about it, learning how to communicate with the deities that surround us, right? And distinguishing between them, right? You know, I only know Christ, right? Born and raised in a Christian home. So that's all I know. That's all I understand. And it's always stuck out to me to this very day, right? If it wasn't for the words of wisdom and the relationship with Christ, you know, I might be on a separate path. And life will always have its ups and downs, trials and tribulations, right? You know, I went through a trial for a couple days, right? And it's just a reminder that, you know, Christ, the deities never leave you. They don't. They'll just sit there and just go, all right, well, he's going through a trial. Let's see if he can pass this test. See if he knows what to do, right? And then when you pass that test, and they'll be like, oh, hey, bravo, you did it. Good job, right? And you grow stronger with that relationship because, you know, me on a personal level, you know, talking with Christ consistently through those trials. I came home and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to get some gas. And turned back around and went and got gas. And I was just, thinking about the day and the trial the past couple of days. And I got this big ringing in the ear, in the right ear. Bing! And I was like, oh, hey. That I was looking around going, oh, there's a message somewhere. What's going on? And then it dawned on me. I was like, oh, yeah, those trials. I need to release what they experience and any kind of spirits that may have presented themselves that no longer serve me. I need to present that to the sun while it's setting. Let it go so I'm not sitting in it during another nighttime, during another dream state. So I release and let it go. I was just like, hey, I release anything that no longer serves me, any negative forces, anything that impurities, I release to the sun. I let go and allow the judgment of the sun to take care of the rest. And that's what I did while I was driving with the destination of getting some gas, right? And it's constantly having that personal relationship. So Christ can be like, hey, Adam, I know you, right? Anytime you were in a bind or you just had a question or a concern, you always ask me. You at times may went to your mom or hung out with people online, but you always came to me first. Always came to me. So I acknowledge you, right? So it's that personal relationship that is key, right, at the end of the day. And you do an overview of your life. That's why I always tell people, I was like, if you need some kind of schedule, follow the cycle of the moon. The new moon sets your intentions for the month, and then in 15 days you do an evaluation on what you're trying to manifest or your experiences or encounters, right? And then with the full moon, you should see your full manifestation. The positive things of it, the negative things of it, what you learn, and things of that nature. But to build upon that, you're also, if the weather's beautiful outside, springtime, spending time in the sun every day, allowing the sun to purify and cleanse you as well, right? And I'll be going deeper into those. That's really the biggest goal that I have this year, is to help you guys build that personal relationship, to build your character stronger, right? Allowing you to open up the opportunities of responsibility and confidence and building your faith and your love and encouragement to yourself, but also building that to you're helping yourself so then you can help others, right? Building yourself up as a leader so then you can go out there and help others build themselves up as well, right? It's all intertwines. So I want to make this video short. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's learning to build your relationship. So that term, oh, hey, I did everything in your name. And Christ says, I never knew you. You never had a conversation with me, right? That's what Christ was all about. He always said, I only listened to the Father. I only talked to the Father. He never went to no synagogue, and a synagogue is a church, a temple, right? A place out in public. He didn't go there to commune. He communed through meditation, through prayer. And that's something that, I encourage you guys to build that faith, right? To build that personal relationship so you can learn how to have a conversation and learn to listen to the answers that come through. Well, how do you know if it's your own voice? Well, if you're getting answers, Where are those answers come from? If you're giving yourself a question that you don't have an answer to, and then the answer comes to you, there you go. Some say that's Christ. It could be your deities that surround you, right? I only identify with Christ because, again, that's what I was born and raised with. But these deities could have different names, But I identified as Christ, and it's just learning to go deeper within it, right? And that these deities are helping you in your life, right? You will see your life blossom, right? You're going to go through trials and tribulations for sure, but your life will blossom if you take responsibility and ownership for it, right? No one else is going to do it but you, right? And with understanding of things and just keeping it simple, having the conversation with these deities will help you. There's no, and that's what Christ was teaching the people. There is no sacrifice needed physically. There is nothing that is needed, but you have to understand when things have inhabited your body and how to release it out of your body. It's like I said, trials and tribulations. These spirits will come in and they will test you and may cause sickness in you, things of that nature. But all of these things are designed to build your faith and your relationship, to make you stronger than you were before, to go through contemplation, to go through these deeper mysteries and deeper thought patterns, or just going into your heart space and learning more about yourself, learning more about the deities that surround us, learning about the multi-dimensions and how deep it goes, right? Continuously learning on your spiritual journey. It's not just a one ticket ride, right? Be like, oh, here's your ticket, that's it. No, it's mini rides. It's, oh, hey, here's your ticket till the next stop. Then you're going to spend time in that town, earn some money, and then get a ticket, go to the next town, things like that. That's your spiritual journey. It's not just a one-way ticket, clear across. You're going to keep making stops at each of these cities and towns to learn and grow in your life and mature in your life, as well as meeting people and helping them along the way. But you can only help them if you've mastered and learned every element and level of responsibility and hardships and things of that nature, to be able to speak about it through experiences and encounters, because I'm all about experiences and encounters, right? I don't believe in anything. I discover and encounter, right? I discovered and encountered Christ, and it just continuously built and continues to build, and that's why I'm talking to you guys now. So hopefully this video helps you. Longer than I wanted it to be, but it's learning to build that relationship with your deities, right? And I say that because there's so many walks of life out there, and a lot of times people get stuck in a program of humans, and they lose the opportunity of creativity, right? Because in the Bible it says we got to become children again, so that goes back into the realm of wonder and magic and the mystery of things, right? You want to go back into the world of mystery and magic and wonder, because that's where you will discover Christ. That's where you'll discover your helpers, your deities, your advocates, that have been there since you were born. They literally are like right there. they are just chilling with your parents, your mom, while you're in the womb. And then when you're born, they're like, oh, hey, what up? And they're just there guiding and protecting you. And they're there to help you through life. And when you're ready to leave this vessel, they're there to help you ascend out into the next life, right? Interesting stuff. And that's, that's just my understanding of things. And it's just continuously building upon that. So there's some deep stuff to end the day with. But yeah, just spend time, asking and communicating. Be like, oh, hey, Christ, are you there? Are you over there? Are you over there? Are you sitting on my couch over there? Oh, no. You've been in here the whole time, haven't you? Yep. I see. So all I had to do is just knock on the door of my heart right here, and you just greet me with your arms wide open. Yep, that's it, Adam. That's it. So practice it, meditation, prayer, or just as you walk through life, just say, hey, are you there, Christ? Hey, deities, are you there? I got a lot of questions. I need some answers. Can you help me? Yep. Been waiting for decades for you to ask me that. And then start that conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and end on that. I'm going to talk forever. So love yourself. Keep shining bright. I'll talk to you all later.